All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Awesome. So today, we're going deep into the world of the eastern wild turkey.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, you guys gave us some fantastic footage this time around from that YouTube channel, Canada in the Rough.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. Some pretty cool stuff on there.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they've got some great footage of these birds. And honestly, I think we're going to uncover some pretty amazing facts about this bird.
More than just a Thanksgiving dinner, that's for sure.
Way more. You'd be surprised. Way more complex than most people probably think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they are fascinating creatures when you really start digging into them.
Okay, so let's dig in. The video tells us the eastern wild turkey. It's one of 5 subspecies, and it's actually the most common one found in, the eastern U.S. and Canada, obviously.
Right.
They prefer, those hardwood forests and fields, that kind of environment. But what's really interesting is how big these birds can get.
Yeah, the video mentions the eastern wild turkey's the biggest of the subspecies. Like, these adult males, the toms, they can be 3 feet tall.
Wow.
And weigh up to 25 pounds.
That's the size of a small dog.
I know, right?
I never would have guessed they get that big.
Yeah.
But it makes me think, with all those feathers, like, how many are we even talking about on one bird?
Oh, it's a lot.
Bet.
An adult turkey can have anywhere between 5,000 and 6,000 feathers.
5,000 to 6,000. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of having so many feathers?
Well, survival. I mean, think about it. Those feathers provide camouflage, help them blend into their surroundings.
That makes sense.
Keeps them safe from predators, plus insulation.
Oh, right, to stay warm.
Yeah, it's pretty crucial in those colder months.
That makes a lot of sense. And speaking of survival, the video mentions their eyesight. Their eyesight is unbelievable.
Yeah, nearly 360-degree vision. It's amazing.
So they can see almost everything around them.
Almost everything. And it's not just that. They have incredible color and depth perception.
No way.
And here's the kicker. Everything's in focus at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to shift their focus like we do. It's always sharp.
Wow, that's wild.
It's super important, though. I mean, for spotting predators, at a distance, and for finding food, foraging effectively, all that good stuff.
That's incredible. I kind of wish I had that kind of vision. But it's funny. For all that time they spend in trees, the video says the hens, they lay their eggs on the ground.
It's true.
I would think they'd want the protection of being up high.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's probably, who knows? It could be camouflage, right? Or maybe it's about avoiding certain predators. I mean, every choice has its trade-offs.
So they're weighing their options, like a risk-benefit analysis for nesting.
Exactly. And they lay a lot of eggs, too. Typically 8 to 12.
Over what, like a week or 2?
1 to 2 weeks, yeah. 1 egg a day. It's a big commitment, for sure.
That is a big commitment.
Oh.
And of course, all that leads up to that fascinating courting process, which we see in the video. Have you ever seen a tom turkey, like, strutting his stuff?
Yeah.
It's quite a sight.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty impressive.
I mean, they puff themselves up. They fan out their tail feathers in that whole dramatic display.
It's like, the peacock of the turkey world.
Totally.
It's all about sexual selection, the flashiest display wins the girl.
And let's not forget about those color changes.
Yeah.
Remember, we talked about the snood earlier.
The snood.
Yeah, it turns out the tom's head and snood, they actually change color depending on his mood.
It's true.
It's like a mood ring.
It's more than just a quirk, though. The snood, it's this fleshy thing, right, that hangs over the beak. And it's actually a really important communication tool for them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the color changes, it signals dominance or aggression, or even, when they're ready to mate.
So they've got the visuals down.
Yeah.
But what about, like, vocalizations? Everyone knows the famous gobble, right?
Of course.
The video says it can travel for a mile.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
That is loud. But it's mainly the males,
Yeah,
right?
mostly, yeah.
What about the females?
They communicate, but it's more subtle. They have these clucks and purrs, which actually convey all sorts of different messages.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, purrs can be friendly, especially when they're courting, but they can also purr aggressively during fights. And then there are these warning clucks to, alert others to danger.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
So they have this whole language we're only beginning to understand.
Right. And who knows what else we might be missing? It makes you think.
Yeah. It does. There's definitely more to these birds than meets the eye or ear, I guess.
For sure.
So incredible eyesight, these elaborate courtship rituals, and this whole complex communication system.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. But we're just getting started. There's still so much more to uncover about these turkeys.
Oh, absolutely. Stick around because next time we'll dive into some of the challenges they face.
That's right. Things aren't always easy in the wild. We'll see you then.
See ya. You know, before we move on, I was thinking about something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
About the nests, those ground nests.
Oh, right.
It makes you wonder about the chicks, you know?
Totally makes you realize how tough they got to be.
Right from the start.
Right from the start. I mean, the video said incubation is about 26 to 28 days, right?
Yeah, about that.
And the hen is like on guard-ditty the whole time.
Oh, yeah, protecting those eggs, it's a tough job.
Oh, I bet. And even once the eggs hatch, those chicks are so tiny.
Oh, so small and vulnerable.
What are the biggest threats for them?
Well, they're basically born on the ground level, right?
Right.
So you've got raccoons, foxes, snakes, all kinds of predators.
Yeah, turkey dinner buffet.
Exactly. Unfortunately, not a good situation for the chicks.
Good thing those mama hens are so protective.
Oh, for sure. Can you imagine the stress?
I can only imagine.
Keeping those chicks safe, it's no walk in the park.
And not all of them make it right?
Sadly, no. The mortality rate is pretty high for turkey chicks.
That's really sad to hear.
Yeah, it is.
But it also makes you realize how resilient they are.
Absolutely. As a species, I mean, they've figured out how to thrive.
Despite all that.
Yeah, and part of that is their adaptability.
Right.
And their ability to learn. Remember we talked about their eyesight?
Oh, yeah, it's incredible.
That plays a huge role in their development, too.
Well, yeah, if you can see almost 360 degrees,
Exactly.
you can spot danger coming from anywhere.
Like a built-in security system.
Totally. And everything's always in focus.
Always, which means
They can react so fast.
they don't have to waste time adjusting their eyes or anything like that.
Wow.
You know, they're ready to react to threats or see a tasty snack.
Gotta be a big advantage when you're constantly watching out for predators.
Oh, absolutely. Crucial for survival.
Makes me think about their other senses, too. What about hearing?
Oh, their hearing is super sharp, too.
I bet.
They pick up the tiniest sounds, you know, twigs snapping, leaves rustling.
All those little signs of danger.
Yeah.
Exactly, a little early warning system.
So they're not just watching, they're listening too.
Always on high alert. It's like a superpower.
Makes sense when you're out in the wild.
And all those senses, they help with finding food, too.
Oh, right. With that sharp vision, they can spot those insects and seeds and berries.
Like you said, no more blurry berries.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool how it all works together.
Yeah, all these adaptations for survival, it's amazing.
It really is. It's like evolution in action.
Speaking of amazing, what about those courtship rituals we were talking about?
Oh, yeah. The Toms really put on a show.
It's like a feathery fashion show out there.
It's all about competition.
Yeah, the males are all trying to impress the ladies.
Exactly. Vying for attention, trying to win a mate.
So what are the females looking for? What makes one Tom stand out from the rest?
That's a good question. There's no one answer,
Right.
But I'm sure things like plumage size and brightness matter.
Of course.
And the gobble, you know how intense it is.
Right.
Even the strutting, how energetic they are. So it's not just looks, it's personality too.
Exactly. How well can you shake your tail feathers?
Like a real-life dating game out there.
You could say that survival of the fittest and the most charming.
And we can't forget those color changes we talked about.
But yeah, their head and snood.
Like a mood ring.
Right. It's incredible how those colors shift.
It really is what's going on there.
Well, it's all tied to their emotions.
Really?
Yeah, when they get excited or agitated, the blood vessels in those areas, they dilate, and that makes the colors more vibrant. It's like a way to communicate their feelings, without even making a sound.
So they're sending visual signals. That's fascinating.
It is, and it makes you wonder what other subtle cues we might be missing.
Oh, I bet there are tons.
We tend to focus on the obvious stuff, the gobbling, the strutting.
Like the big flashy stuff.
But I bet there's a whole world of subtle signals that we just don't even notice.
It makes you realize how much we still don't know about how they communicate and how they experience the world.
Exactly. It's humbling, isn't it?
It's not just about understanding their language either.
Right.
It's about appreciating how complex their social interactions are and how intelligent they really are.
Absolutely. We often underestimate animals, but there's so much going on beneath the surface.
You're right. We've covered a lot today.
We have.
From their senses and adaptations to their courtship and communication.
A whirlwind tour of turkey facts.
It really has been. But I'm curious.
Yeah.
What are some of the lesser-known things about wild turkeys that you find particularly interesting?
Oh, that's a good question. Lesser-known things. Let me think.
It's always fun to uncover those hidden gems.
Oh, it is, yeah. Like, I'm always amazed by their adaptability.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we think of them as woodland birds, right?
Yeah.
Forests.
But they can actually do well in all sorts of habitats.
Interesting.
Like of open fields, even suburban backyards.
That's right.
You see them all over the place.
I haven't seen them in my neighborhood, just wandering around.
Yep, they're pretty resourceful. But it makes you wonder, with all this adaptability,
Yeah.
how are they handling all the changes, in the world?
Oh, that's a really good point.
All those challenges.
We haven't talked much about the threats they face.
Yeah, that's important.
Definitely something to think about.
So what are some of the biggest threats to their survival?
Well, habitat loss is a big one.
Makes sense as we keep expanding.
Exactly. You know, forests get cleared for development agriculture.
Yeah, they lose their homes and their food sources.
Right. It's a tough situation.
And I imagine climate change is playing a role too.
Oh, absolutely. Climate change can really mess with their breeding cycles,
Wow.
affect food availability, and even make them more vulnerable to diseases.
It's a lot to deal with.
It is. It's a reminder that even adaptable creatures like turkeys are still vulnerable,
To those bigger forces.
Yeah, the impact of human activity. It's a reality check.
It is. And what about hunting? The video we watched is from a hunting channel, after all.
Right, well, it's complicated.
I bet.
It can be a good thing, actually.
Really?
Yeah, if it's managed responsibly, it can help control populations, prevent overgrazing.
Oh, okay.
But of course, overhunting or, habitat destruction from hunting,
Right. That's bad.
yeah, that can be a real problem.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Exactly, conservation and responsible management.
Finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, and recognizing that we have a responsibility,
To protect them.
to protect them, yeah, to ensure their survival for the long term.
Absolutely. Are there things being done to help protect them and their habitats?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are organizations doing great work.
What kind of stuff?
Well, protecting existing habitats, restoring degraded ones.
That's great.
Yeah, and they're working to promote responsible hunting practices,
Educating hunters.
Exactly, spreading awareness about conservation.
So it's like a team effort.
It is research, conservation, public awareness, all working together.
That's awesome. And it's not just about protecting them for their own sake, right?
No, not at all.
They're part of a bigger picture.
Right, they play an important role in the ecosystem.
How so?
Well, they help control insect populations, they disperse seeds, even provide food for other animals.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly. Everything's connected. The well-being of one species can impact the whole system.
So true.
So yeah, while we've been fascinated by their adaptations and behaviors today,
Yeah, it's been a really cool journey.
it has. It's important to remember the challenges they face and what we can do to help.
I agree, well said. I think this has been a really eye-opening deep dive.
Me too.
From those amazing physical traits to their complex communication.
And those threats they're facing, it's a lot to take in.
It is. It's given me a whole new perspective on these birds.
I hope so. That's the goal,
To see them with fresh eyes.
Yeah, to appreciate their complexity and resilience.
I think we've achieved that for sure.
Yeah.
So next time I see a wild turkey,
Yeah,
whether it's out in the woods or just strutting through my neighborhood,
exactly.
I'll remember there's so much more to them than meets the eye.
That's what we wanted to get across.
It's amazing to think about how these seemingly ordinary birds
Right.
have all these hidden depths to them,
They really do. They're a testament to the wonders of nature,
and a reminder to protect that diversity.
Absolutely couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of the eastern wild turkey.
It's been a pleasure being here.
And to our listeners, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.
Viva!